Welcome back to the pre-seminar session of Scaling Up Your Research Project with an International Research Grant, sharing best practice and lesson learned. This event is supported by the UK International Science Partnership Fund, or ISPF, from the UK Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, in partnership with British Council and the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Innovation. In the next session, we will hear from speaker and expert on sustainable research partnership, how to start and how to maintain. Participants will be taking through the long journey of building a research collaboration, starting with finding the right partner, building a relationship, and making it sustainable. Next, I would like to introduce our panel of speakers. First will be Assistant Professor Dr. Nathawan Uthumphuk, Professor and a member of Thai UK World Class University Consortium, Faculty of Medicine, Chulalongkorn University. Next will be Assistant Professor Dr. Thalerng Wong Sirichot, Vice President for Academic and International Affairs from the Council of University President of Thailand. Professor Dr. Narisala Chantratita, Professor of Microbiology and Immunology, Faculty of Tropical Medicine, Mahidol University. Next will be Mr. Alex Philip, Research Development Manager from University of Derby. And sharing this session will be Assistant Professor Dr. Nitipat Visavet Suan from Thammasat University.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second session on sustainable research partnerships, how to start and how to maintain. I'm very pleased to be here with the four experts who will share their views and experience regarding the journey, as the MC has already introduced, that this session will be about the journey on the research. Particularly, I think what is important is on how to begin, how to create the mechanisms for the research to go on, and of course, finally, how to maintain it, right? And then finally, the research can also bring about a lot of impacts. And I'm sure that four speakers here on the panel will share a lot of invaluable experiences that they have. So first of all, let me start from Ajahn Nathawan, who is also a member of the Thai UK World Class University Consortium. I met her many years ago, and I felt that she had done a lot of attempts, had put a lot of efforts in order to create the research collaborations and try to make it happen. And I would like to say that she is one member of a Faculty of Medicine at Chulalongkorn University, and also bring her own knowledge to bridge with the University College London, UCL. So I think this is a great opportunity for all of us to learn, experience that how she made it happen. And of course, the journey is not kind of not very smooth, I'm sure. And so perhaps we can also learn how she could encounter with the challenges or difficulties, and then finally how she can have the research sustained as it is today. So you have 15 minutes that I'd like to invite Ajahn Nathawan to please share your views. Would you like to sit here, or you like to speak at the podium? Yes, any as you like.
So thank you very much for the opportunities to come here today. So everyone's always said that, you know, from the morning discussion as well, that how to find the collaborators. I think that's the most, intriguing questions, basically, because obviously to create a sustainable partnership, you need the right partnership to begin with. If you find, like, you're a perfect match, that's much easier to maintain. So obviously, why do we need international partnership? everyone knows that it's all these good things about building international partnership, but how best to create them and how best to maintain them. I think from my personal experience, the best thing first is that you need to find the right partnership and who is going to be your right partner. It's like when you try to find a husband or if want you to find a wife. I think the first goal is that you guys need to have the same shared goals. Like you want to start a family together. It's like other partnerships, you need to have the same goals. So usually I would recommend to find a grant first. Otherwise, if you reach out to any of the partners in the UK, okay, let's have a partnership together. They'll be like, oh, what do you want to do? And why do we need to create this partnership? But if you reach out and you say, there's this £1 million grant money that if you collaborate with me, together we can use this money together to do the same thing that we both have the same vision for, which is this. And then you have already Google and you know that this professor wants this thing and then you use that as their reward. And then that's the best way to trick anyone into the partnership is that you have to have the same goal. Most professors, the same goal is the grant money. Of course, everyone wants money. Like money can do everything basically. However, some professors may not just want the money. They may say they want to travel to Thailand, or some of my partners say they want to go to a rural areas of Thailand in the borders because I also do telehealth and telemedicine. So I'm from the Faculty of Medicine at Chulalongkorn University. Originally, I'm an ear doctor. So I do hearing loss treatment and balance treatment for older adults and children with hearing and balance problems. So Jula sent me to do a master degree and also a PhD in this area because Jula wants to set up the master and a PhD in this specific area in Thailand. So we don't have it yet in Thailand, PhD in hearing and balance. So anyone who wants to study in this area needs to go abroad to get a PhD, and they've been trying many years to find any doctors who want to go abroad for many years to do this, and not many people want because, you have family commitments, you have other priorities. So at that time, I decided that, okay, I'll go, and I know that upon my coming back to Thailand at the faculty, I will not need to develop my own master degree and PhD. So even before I finish my own PhD, I already have master degree and PhD students lined up and waiting for me in Thailand to supervise them because they don't want to go abroad. They have small children and they just want to stay in Thailand. So, at that time, I know that there's no way you can start a PhD training with only me. So I know at that time I need to find some partners in the UK to help me to do this teaching program because I don't even graduate PhD yet myself. How can I, supervise other people? So at that time, I asked all my supervisors at UCL, so everyone that I think that maybe they want to go to Thailand to help me, build this teaching. Because at that time you don't have any grant money. I don't have anything. I don't even know how grants work in Thailand. I don't know anything, but I know that my goal is to find someone to help me to supervise the students. So one of the things I listed here is that, it creates opportunities for students and early career researchers. So I try to get in touch with some of my existing lecturers. Anyone wants to go to have lectures in Thailand and they ask, and who's going to pay for the flights, who's going to pay for the hotels, who's going to pay for everything. And then I think, okay, then I need to find the money. Okay, and when you have the goals, then, everything else come. And then you think, okay, you need to find the money to support all this. And then you try to find if there's any opportunities. And then I ended up finding out that, okay, British Council have this kind of grants to invite people to help supervise students. At that time, because I'm not a well-established researcher, researcher yet, so it's impossible for me to apply for like a research big grants. I don't have any labs. I don't have anything. So I started with small grants first. So small grants. The first grants that I got actually was UCL grants. It was UCL grants to support any lecturers who want to help teaching other students in other countries. So, and then my professor said that, this grant is just so small grants and all the professor doesn't want to waste the time to write up a grant for £5,000 money. So £5,000 for all the professors, like, so little. But for me, I know I can pay for the hotels in Thailand, obviously. It can pay for the flights and everything. So all the professors like, okay, Natawan, if you want us to go, you write yourself this grant. And it's internal grant, so I try to ask people who have won the grants before, and then basically just go to ask them, how they write it, and then obviously you have to start with a very, very small internal grant. So comparable to the one in Thailand is like your university internal grant. So it's not difficult to find some mentor to do that. And then I don't know how budgets work with the UK finance team. So my professor is like, you go sit with this head of finance officer. So it's like your การเงินธุรการ and then I sit with this finance officer, and because the professor said, I need to make the Excel spreadsheet for the £5,000. And then, I asked her literally everything of how to create the grant. From the beginning, like, how to calculate the hour rate of the professors, how to book the flights for all the professors. There's like special system in UCL that you need to use to book all the hotels and everything. And it ended up that now those skills I learned, and up until this point, I know in and out how to calculate all the grant money that needs to be utilized by the UCL teams. Obviously, it's not the same for all department, all faculties, and all university, but I know the backbones of basically everything. So I think from what Ajahn said, how to start small, and if you want to create sustainable collaboration, you really need to understand what they want and how their system works. So for me, it's in a way maybe lucky in disguise that at that time, I know since the beginning before I came back from the UK that this is the things that I have to do. I need to find the fundings to cover for this. So in the process, I learned how to do this and how to do the work tribe, the finance, and all in all, it's ended up that now when I reach out to other universities, I know that, okay, you need to submit the finance 3-4 weeks beforehand, what needs to be listed there, what's the infrastructure, overhead, and everything. So I think this type of things, it's quite tricky. If you don't know what they want, and also you don't know how they're gonna budget everything, you need to really plan well ahead of times. So maybe 3 months, 6 months in advance, because you need to also let them have time, the UK partner of yours, to have time to calculate and prepare everything. I think that's the most challenging part to start the collaboration. Yeah. So our successful ISPF grants in the past. So the first one is the transforming system through partnership in 2020 to 2021. So that was actually the first grant that I got, because I got my PhD in 2021 actually. So I wrote the application when I was still PhD student in the UK. At that time, it's ISPF with the Royal Academy of Engineering in the UK side, and in Thailand side it's PMUC and NASDA. At that time, I didn't know before, but I heard that, if you go for anyone with the PMUB, that's a lot of competitors. But with the PMUC, there's not many competitors because PMUC has a very tough criteria that they only support the technology that is ready to fly. So the industrial partner needs to invest money, like real money, not in-kind money, like, they're going to send people to help you, so that's not count, because they want the industrial partner to really pay money to the project. So that's the most challenging part, but in a way, it makes you have less competitors, basically. And I have to say that it's the same because I was still in the UK. I practically make the finance spreadsheet and everything with the finance officer for my UCL professor. So I support with the drafting and everything in the UK side as well. So that's because frankly, this type of grants is not a lot of money. Even I remember my UCL professor, he said that, for this such a small amount of money, do I need to go through all this paperwork and legal documents and MOU and collaborations and all this thing and the IP and everything just for this, only a few 10,000 grants money, which, he doesn't even want to bother. But for us, for Thailand, it's a lot of money, obviously. So I need to put in all the work, Okay, it's okay, I can do this and that and this part and that part, and then you can review it. You don't have to do everything from scratch. And also I know people. I know people in the finance department, I know people in the legal department, and then, I'm basically beg them every day to help me, and then I buy elephant snacks to when I go visit them. I always, because all these officers, I think they're the backbone of how I can be me today. I mean, I always thankful to all the professors, but I know that all these officers who teach me how to write all this is really important. So we got the first grant, and also we got the next phase of the grant again from the Transforming System through Partnership in 2023 and 2024 as the primary investigator. So at that time is to do, the first project was the Thai speech acoustic virtual reality test for detection of early dementia. So at that time, because I'm actually the first one that go to have the study from the UK, I realized that in Thailand we do not have the laboratory yet. So I used this money to set up the acoustic laboratory at Jula. So set up the speakers array because in Jula and obviously in all university, it's really hard to buy equipment, which is karupan. So karupan is like the hardest thing that you can get. And this allow me to be on my first year of lecturers to have karupan. So from this grant money to buy the speakers, the microphones and everything to set up the acoustic laboratories. And then because at that time the grants say specifically that it needs to support the engineering subject that is non-existing in Thailand, which is at that time I say it's acoustic engineering that is non-existing. And then I asked the physics professor that taught me in my MSc years. So I walked to him and say, okay, do you want to travel to Thailand and then help me set up these laboratories? Because I am ear doctor, I don't know about set up acoustic laboratory or any physics equipment, but he knows and he's like, okay. And his head of laboratories want to come to Thailand, so that's how we got this. The next grant, it's affordable hearing for all mobile remote AI software to assess hearing and predict cognitive decline among older adults. So we have the lab. So we use the lab to validate the mobile application. And then the next grant, the topic says that they want AI and affordable for all. Health. So another key takeaway is that read what they want and tries to put the words in your titles. So I have all the names that they want, the AI, the affordable for all health of everyone, in the grants, and then I asked the director of my clinical training in UCL that do you want to help Thai people in the rural area to get access to hearing care, and that's how I got the next fundings. And our existing ISPF fundings that just got the funded a few months ago is this one. I'm a PI together with Dr. Wachana from UCL. So you can guess from her name, she's Thai. And we met at the Thai temple in London when I was doing my PhD. And then we have a brief chat over lunch like you guys did this lunchtime. And then we found out that, okay, probably we keep in touch. And when the grants call came, there's something about AI. And I remember that she is based in the AI department at UCL. And so I reached out to her and asked if we want to apply together. So this morning, everyone talked about how to have a matching or business matching or networking or something. I strongly believe and agree with Kun Bang that everything needs to happen quite organically. You cannot force people to work together. So at that time, during the lunch at the temple, I remember she talked something about AI modeling, something that she did. So I'm like, okay, this lady knows about AI, and I want this grant money, and this grant money says the topic needs to be AI. Most grants say that if you are in health subject, you should be able to apply, but this grant, it's no health in there, it's AI. So I reached out to her because she's the only one AI person I know at UCL. And then I asked her if we want to write it up together, and she's quite interested in doing the same things as I do. So we will create the project together to support doctors in Thailand in using the AI to help in telemedicine. So I think I'm not sure what would be the best advice for sustainable the collaboration, but I think first thing first is you need to start the collaboration and go to any of the meetings like this, and who knows, maybe the one next to you can be your next collaborators probably. อาจารย์มีคำถาม
Okay, thank you very much, Ajahn. I think we can leave the Q&A at the end, and thank you so much. Please give her a big applause for her kind sharing experience. And I think it's interesting that from the very organic shared interests, and then moved on to something that she get to know people, right? And then it becomes steps by steps, in small steps for each movement. And then I think what is interesting, and I really love to say as well, is that for her, she never give up, right? So just do whatever you can, and get to know friends, and finally, you never know that you can come up with something that is very important, very impactful, and then it becomes sustainable. And what I also like to add, conclude here as well, is that she also worked in interdisciplinary areas. So it means that nobody knows everything. So that means then next to you, anyone's keep talking, right? Talk to your friends, talk to partners, talk to anyone who may not know today, but then finally, even someone at the temple, right? So then that can become a very valuable research partners. So I like to move on to, may I go to Professor Narisara, because she is also one member of the Thai UK World-Class University Consortium who worked very extensively with the University of Bristol. And Professor Narisara is now a professor of medicine at Mahidol University. And I think for her, experience would also be extending to the large-scale collaborations as well. And I think it's quite interesting to know how she made the journey of research, particularly with the international organizations as well as private sector. So I think then your research can become commercialized somehow, or can also become more impactful for the society. So Professor Narisara, please, the floor is yours. Yes.
Thank you very much, Professor and British Council for inviting me. So what I want to share you is very organic, and we start from very small, very small. And I will tell you about my story from the journey to impact, how to start, maintain, and grow. Okay, so I'm Narisara Chantratit from Faculty of Tropical Medicine, Mahidol University, and I just so I am a Thai UK World Class University Consortium, and I just got an award as a Thailand Outstanding Researcher because of the research that I produced during the collaboration. Okay, so what I will tell you is about the main topic is about the mentorship and about the trust and the share scientific curiosity together. So I would like to echo Ajahn Nathawan about the share interest as well. All right. So this is the picture of my team and research ecosystem 20 years ago, actually. Yeah, you're lucky that I found this picture. So starting like everyone, like bachelor degree student in July and master degree at Siriraj Hospital. Also PhD at tropical medicine. So I'm studying in Thailand actually, and so at tropical medicine, where I did my PhD, we have Mahidol Oxford Tropical Medicine Research Unit, or we call MORU. So at here, many Oxford staff come to establish here now 40 years ago, and they run the tropical medicine research project, and they have a regional collaboration. And my advisor or supervisor, Professor Sharon Peacock, she's from Oxford, and she's the head of microbiology laboratory. So I'm start my research career at Julapur Research Institute for 10 years with Professor Sathit Siri Singh. And everyone know, if you are immunologist, you know him, and he is 91 years old now, and he's still my mentor. Until today. Also, Professor Sharon Peacock, she's still mentor, and we meet each other every year. Okay, so the turning point that I will tell you is about I work at MORU, and I get used to the international research ecosystem there. So here, when I complete my PhD, then she need to kick me off from her lab, right? So I need to go outside my comfort zone, right? So at Mahidol University, so I fortunate to get a lecturer position. At that time, it's very difficult to get a position, you know. Several years ago, no position there. But when I got there, so I need to be independent. So searching from the research grant in Thailand is very difficult if you get to the lab and you don't have any, you have empty room. And I even don't have room actually. So Sharon gave me a pipette and a PCR machine. So that is, you go and get your lab, but it's very difficult. So I apply for the career development grant we call Wellcome Trust Intermediate Fellowship, because actually I start when I have my family, and I just work for 10 years already, and then I start my PhD after that. Right? So I quite senior. You cannot get to the training fellowship, but you are senior, so you go to intermediate fellowship, and you can think about how difficult it is when I have to be in the interview room in the final stage in London, and 30-person interview me, right, in a big room like this, and you stand and you never have experience about that, but they kind enough to speak slowly and try to understand my Thai English accent. Okay, so lucky, so that's success, but we need support. Yes, and more will give support, because if they, like Professor Nick White, if you know, he just passed away, and he called to the welcome task that Narisala may not understand English. You have to speak slowly. Okay, so, but I try and prepare a lot for this interview. Then, so when you have the room and the lab on your own, so we need to build up and grow. Not like a linear, but go exponentially. So this, we need to manage a lot to build people, invest in the student and early career, and even yourself and your department and your faculty as well. So not just only ourselves, but also the institute that you need to support each other. So for the Welcome Trust, they had agreement between Welcome Trust, the grant, and my faculty, that you need to allow me to do the research, like fully 90% up. So I will not do administration or other things that not involved with the research. So I very focus on the research. Then need to build capacity, infrastructure, and build trust, and build impact. So Faculty of Tropical Medicine, the vision is that to be the leader, the world leader in tropical medicine. And this is aligned with my purpose, and also the grant, Welcome Trust grant scheme that I apply to. So this is very lucky. Talking about the research, my research focus on melioidosis. And my aim today is to make everyone know about melioidosis as well, because it's a neglected disease, and no one know about melioidosis. But this is a very severe disease, and the impact is that it's very difficult to treat, to diagnose. It under-report and no awareness. Although the patient die 40%. So it is quite a local disease, because it's involved tropical countries and related to the the warm temperature. So I try to make people, actually I involve people who are interested in tropical disease and melioidosis. This is a fascinating disease, and a few people interested, but once you're interested, you will stuck to this topic. And this is my collaborator who still interested and continue relationship for a long time. Okay, so the growth machine is that people, and also the structure, and about the vision of the institute and collaboration. So we have many systems that support the partnership. We have mentoring, early career researcher, the research itself, conference, supervision, and grant management, that my faculty have the system. And also to work like internationally, you need some regulation that comply to the grant as well. So I need the biosafety level 3, and my faculty have that. And I need to do the ethical approval. So my faculty have that, so that will be some criteria for that. Okay, from the funding, so I got, thank you very much for British Council and the partner, the Thai partner, also scholarship that support me and my students, starting from Newton Fund, Royal Golden Jubilee, and this the partners starting from Oxford and expand to Cambridge, Sanger, Bristol, Sheffield, and also other countries that come to join along the way. And the result, you can be the student, and about the research capacity, about the permanent unit, and also not permanent, but long-standing unit and about the network that I expand from one to many. Okay, so not only the UK partner, I also have Thai partner Khon Chiang Mai, and also Jula from the Joint International Link that at that time. And this grant actually support me. Actually push me to develop a diagnostic test, because in this we doing research for melioidosis and tuberculosis, and my role is that to produce a prototype diagnostic kit for melioidosis. So I done my job here, and this is another milestone that helped me to go to the next step. So from here, as I told you, we in this region, this is very important to tackle the regional problem and tropical medicine here. So we share the border with the Southeast Asian country, and this network go to other network that is the Savanakhet in Laos. So we have this network in many countries, and we will not stop at that. Okay, so from World-Class University Consortium, we go to validate network about the intracellular bacterial vaccine and also the AMR vaccine, Bactivac network, also C-covariant. This is Vietnam is the PI, and we are the steering committee for this, and also the World-Class University Consortium that we continue involving. So this support everyone here. Okay, so that's create safe space for collaboration. How to create that? You need time, you need space, and you need to meet regularly. So we have the mechanism of the international conference we call Joint International Conference in Tropical Medicine every year in December. If you're interested, you can join us. And this organized by my faculties. About 700 people join this. In Bangkok every year, and I organize a small meeting where the student and the young researcher have a chance, like a small room, and we have poster, and we have everyone can talk and have some activity. Last year we have in Kanchanaburi. So that's the way that we travel together and talk together and eat together. So that's this mechanism supported by the Catalyst Grant as well. Academic integration, my university have the supporting system about the staff student mobility program. So we co-funded and student to move and to train. And I also invited my collaborator to be the visiting professor, adjunct professor, and the thesis committee. So this will support the ecosystem along the way as well. So this very actually complex and culture, but no one knows that this can make a big impact for everyone. Also, some challenges, about language, about the culture, about the funding limitation, but we can do without funding actually. In some part, and also the administrative barrier about the documentation. But we have the way to solve the problem and make it go. All right, so this is, so apart from the research publication that we have over 200 publications together right now, also we have innovative products for melioidosis diagnosis, and 2 of them get FDA approval, and 1 go to the market already, and so it used for community, and we would like to implement this to Southeast Asian country as well. Right. Okay. So so this is overall about the commitment, share commitment, about building trust, about the open, and about the patience. So we need to patient for everything. you understand that. All right. So let's start from the ecosystem about the small step, curiosity. here, the first step that I tell you, but actually I have pre first before this. So I have a small dot, many before number one, right? You need to do lab, do work, presentation, publication, discussion. So everything before one, but then when you have one, you can go to 2 and 3, maintain and grow. So it's just natural human connection and communication. So back to my professor. So now I propose her for the honorary degree in tropical medicine at Mahidol University just October last year, and she very pleased and see all the Thai students come and celebrate with her, and she said that this is one of the best time in her life that she have opportunity to work in Thailand and invested her time for less the Thai PhD student. So I was her first student and I met her last student in the UK, and she now is the master of the Churchill College, and I still meet her when I visit the UK. So everyone need to go. If I can grow you, everyone can grow as well, right? All right, so I think that's the last slide. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Professor Narisara. Yes, she grows and then everyone grows and we grow together, right? And now we have listened to our two speakers, particularly both of them are the members of the Thai UK World Class University Consortium, and then we learned a lot about their journeys. Now I think one difficulties, or sometimes not difficulty, perhaps is a challenge that I can learn from both speakers would be about limitation of the funding, or sometimes it's the kind of difficulties of establishing the lab in Thailand, or some facilities, mechanisms that support Thai universities seems to be lacking. So I think now it's a good opportunity for all of us today as well to listen from the Associate Professor Dr. Thakeng Wongsirit, who also represent the University President's Council of Thailand, and he is a Vice President of the Prince of Songkhla University, and from the background that he has been working extensively in international academic and research collaborations. So now I like to invite all of you to hear from his experience how the Thai universities, can get out of these challenges, or how we can help or facilitate, the Thai, particularly young researchers, to get engagement and try to build up their research collaborations with the partners abroad, and what kind of facilities, what kind of mechanisms, what kind of supports, particularly the Thai universities can offer. So please, everyone, give a big applause. For welcome Professor Thakeng.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Thakeng from Prince of Songkhla University, and today I'm the representative of CUPT. So there's going to be two hats in my head now. So I'm not about to telling you how to do research like Professor Narisala and other professors just talked to you, but I'm talking to you about the partnership. There's another important thing that you need to do. So first of all, I'd like to thank British Council and our ministry, Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, and also the other partners that invited me today. If you're talking about the partnership, I believe that Ajahn Narisala just mentioned be patient. So you have to be patient with your partners. That's what I learned. I've been in the position of international office for, right now, it's about over 10 years. So the first thing I have to learn is be patient. Because sometimes when you send an email, no one answered. And then you're not sure whether the email arrived or not. You're not sure about that, yeah. And then you try to send it again. After you send it again, so it's still quiet. So just telling you something, yeah. But anyway, there will be many ways that you can approach partners, from the new partners to the old partners that you have. How can you do that one try to scroll it down. So, because I know that some of our colleagues in this room are from the UK, this is the statistics of Thai universities that probably you already know it, so I'm quickly share with you. There are different types of Thai universities in Thailand. The first group is the Global Frontier Universities, and the second group is the Technology and Innovation, area-based, and the rest, okay? So different groups, different goals. That's what I can say. So if you're talking about the first group, so we're targeting on the global and frontier. That's the name showing you that we're targeting on that one. So the first two group will be the one that I think it will be in the same page as this grant. But for the rest, maybe a little bit, not many, okay? So now I'm back to the partnership. If you want to do a partnership, there will be steps. So the first one is discovery. Second thing is trust. You go for scale, and you go for legacy. This is the very important 4 steps, okay? Before I'm trying to explain on what I learned from my experience. Actually, I have an experience with British Council many, many years ago for the first batch of TNE, Transnational Education. I'm the first batch of that one. And it's tough. I can say it's tough, but it's good. It's a good experience. Like the first speaker said, that I have to learn everything, every single thing about the financial cheats and everything. I have to, how many kilometers from that to the, I have to handle everything, every single thing. I can say that. So I learned from that one. So I know that, okay, there will be some details. There will be something that you need to pay very deep attention into it. Otherwise, other things won't be happen. So you have to be very, very careful. So I learned from very good professors from the University of Westminster as a partners at that time. So he traveled to Prince of Songkla University in Hat Yai. And we have to talk a lot about the TNE. What we learned from the TNE is partnership, if you talk frequently, it will maintain and sustain. Even now, professor in the Westminster, sometimes they just drop me a line, how are you? Are you still there? That's good enough for me. I'm feeling okay, we still keep in touch. That's very important, okay? But if you're thinking you want to do a partnership just for grants, okay, if I just want this grant, if I don't get this grant, so just spread it, so we don't need to meet each other. No, that's not the way, okay? So there's 4 steps. The first step is about discovery. There are many ways of discover a new partner or new partners if you want many partners. My background is computer science, so I'm looking at data. So you have to go back to your international office, you have to go back to your research office and asking those people, the director, I have my director here, the director of research office from Prince of Songkla University is here. So I have to go back to ask the director saying that, okay, who is the partner? Who are the partners that we need to collaborate? If your directors or your colleagues cannot tell you, they're going to be the problem. It's university problem, okay? It's university problem. If in a particular area you cannot tell that who you're going to contact, that's not good enough. You not come to this kind of floor and asking, who's going to be my partner? Hello? No. That's not the way. I can refer to one name, the vice president in Mahidol University, Ajahn Pang, Ajahn Nop Renu. She's the one that teach me a lot. When I step into the position of international affairs, she always tell me, you have to work something before you go to the meeting. One thing that you have to work is what you want to do in that meeting and who you're going to meet. If you cannot tell, so it won't be a success. So the first thing, how you going to do the discovery. If your university subscribe for some tools, for example, the SciVal, just click on that one. It's easy. You just click on the SciVal, saying that in this particular area, in your university, how many researchers working on that particular area? And if you want to go for the UK, who in the UK you need to talk with. Okay? And you can use so many mechanisms to meet up. First thing, you can use online meeting. You might send an email saying that, okay, is it possible to have a very, very short, you don't asking for 2 hours meeting for the first time meeting, right? Very short meeting, 10 minutes. I just need 10 minutes with you. Can we talk for 10 minutes? And now everything is easy, right? So just Zoom, 10 minutes. Hello, how are you? The weather is very hot over there. How's that? That's it. That's the end of the story. And then you can carry on. That's the way we do the partnership, okay? Another way of doing discovery is you go back to your internal database regarding the research output. And you scroll down all the data saying that, okay, who are the previous researchers that working in these particular areas? Maybe he or she retired already, doesn't matter. But if you have some kind of collaboration, so you have something to talk with the new person in that particular institute, saying that, okay, I'll give you an example. For example, if you want to talk with someone in Oxford, but you don't know anyone there. So, like my university are very deep south, right? We are not Chulalongkorn, we are not Mahidol, so it's a bit difficult for us to just send an Oxford professor saying that we want to talk to you. So we have to refer back to our alumni, that's what we do. We used to have alumni, blah, 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 we were used to working on this area. That's the way we do, okay? So I think the best way is you walk to see your international officers in your university. They can help you definitely for that part. After you discover a potential partner, second thing, you need to create trust. You trust them, they trust you. Not just you trust them and then saying, oh, you're good, you're good, you're good. But they don't trust you, never work. Okay. So if you work in the international partnership area, you will know that when we talk in the dining room, we know that, okay, this is not. We can say, this is yes. If we say yes, that means you have to ask them to say yes to you too. So how? So you have to make sure that you commit on the same thing. So just right now, the professor just mentioned that we have to look at the goals, right? So if you have the same goal is not get the grant, no. Sometimes you don't get the grant, but you still keep the collaboration, right? You still produce something out for the community, you still produce something out for the social, you still get some impacts to the world. So it's not about the grant. So we just not talk about the grants. Grants is one thing, but not just talk to your partner and say that, okay, we need to get the grant. If we are not getting the grant, so bye-bye. No, that's not the way, right? So if it's the way, it's very short term, that one, okay. After you gain the trust, you scale it up. Scale it up. If you're talking about, in this room, you're talking about research. Try to get the grant, do the research, complete the research, and then what? Oh, that's difficult thing. And then what? So after they finish the grant, all the fund has been used, you complete everything, project has been closed, everyone happy, you celebrate with some wines, that's it. No, that's not the way. You have to scale it up. So when you scale it up, what can you do on that one? So now other thing which is not research coming in. For example, if you want to do a joint PhD research, joint PhD consultation between two universities, a dual degree, a joint degree, transnational education, that will come on that part. Okay? Or just Professor Narisa just mentioned about honorary degree for the professors. Just keep you in touch, you know. It's a small thing for university, you know. You give an honorary degree for a renowned professor is easy, it's not difficult. So those are the small things that can create a high impact. Okay. And after you scale it up, so it's the legacy. So people know that, okay, this is the way that we need to do. So how can we keep this kind of practice inside our university? So if your university have certain, I would say, guidelines saying that in order to create a partnerships, what are the first steps? and how to sustain. That will be the big, long way. So usually these kind of things will be the strategy of the university that based on either the research or academics that they try to create this kind of pathway. I give you some example. I try to find a very practical example that in my university that we did in the past. The first one is about the tourism zero. So this is a project in tourism. You know that our university, one of our campus is in Phuket. And we try to find grants, I would say, yes, and also partners that come in and help our communities, help our country as well, right? So this Tourism Zero is a project that we're doing about the sustainable hospitality research. So it's about the tourism. So people getting in the triple helix just in the morning. Professor Ratacha just mentioned about triple helix. So this is the triple helix project. So it got the industry impact. You can search in, this is the Erasmus Plus project. Okay. So you can search in the Erasmus Plus. It's got all the details. I won't waste your time on that one. But this one is the triple helix that bring in the research people, academic people, and community people come together at the same time. And so this is the first one. So if you see the focus, you have to put in the focus. So the focus of this one is about the circular economy, and it's about the vocational scaling. So this is what we're trying to do. I'm going to finish very soon. The second one is the, I'm very keen to show you this one. It's about integrative support for agricultural initiative. This is more academic thing. So this project, you can see the name of university in Thailand that as a partner, and university in the European Union as a partner. So they come in together and try to do a master, this one, try to do a master degree together, both sides, from Thailand and the Europe. Okay, so the goal is different. It's double degree PhD framework. That's another thing. Okay, so you have to have a very clear goal. That's what you want to do. Okay, so finally, just leave a message for you. Okay, so you have to stay focused. You're not talking about the grant. You have to maintain your partnership as long as you can, and you sustain it. The way to sustain it is not easy. So I'm not asking researchers to sustain partnership, but I'm asking you to go back to your international office and ask them to do their job, okay? So thank you very much. Thank you. ขอบคุณครับ
Thank you very much, Professor Thakung. And yes, we have a number of advisors. Yes, go back to the international office. And yes, if they don't do any job, then let the president of the university know about that. So everything that the three speakers have explained and also showed to you is that all the success cases are actually involving the continuing process, right? And of course, be patient and keep in touch, make it regularly, make it natural. So then the partnerships can finally bring about the impactful projects. And then you can also bring about good things to the young generations as well. Now, let's turn to the UK experience. We are very honored to have a representative from the University of Derby, Alex Phillips, who is going to also share with us from UK perspective. We learned some journeys from Thai researchers and what happens in UK. Do they also experience the similar or different experiences? And from the UK point of view, how do you look at Thai partners? And particularly when you're going to discover the Thai partners or identify who will be the partners in terms of doing research, then how you're going to do that? And in your experience, what were the success cases and what would be challenges, particularly for the Thai scholars to learn from your experience? Then please, Alex, yes.
Thank you, colleagues. It's a great honour to be here in Bangkok today after a very long flight, but it's certainly better than being in a very cold and wet Derbyshire back in England, but there we go. The problem with being last, of course, is that everything's been said before, and I don't really want to sort of cover the ground, but I'm going to do that anyway. I guess my perspective is probably very unique in the room in the fact that I am not an academic, which is a very odd thing to say, but I am one of those people who was mentioned earlier on this morning. I'm a research development manager. I spend my time developing research proposals of every variety, and I've spent the last 10 years doing that. Not only that, but I've also spent my time as a research project manager, so actively delivering research. And so that's given me a great insight, if you like, into what makes a great research partnership, what funders are looking for. Gives me this whole gamut, if you like, in the British idiom, in terms of what funders are looking for and how partnerships need to be maintained. And I think there's some really interesting experiences that I've seen internationally. I've worked on projects in Africa, for instance. I'm currently working on a project in Pakistan with the British Council as a project manager. They're supporting colleagues at the University of Derby, and as I say, I've helped colleagues develop lots of successful applications. And I think one of the experiences, certainly that's already been said, is time. Time, whether you are writing a research proposal as an individual or you are looking for a research partnership, it takes time. These are not things that can be rushed. It is going to take a period of time. It's a journey. I was talking to some colleagues earlier. I was thinking it is a journey. You know, it's got lots of twists and turns, and sometimes it's got dead ends where you are unsuccessful. But don't let that stop you. You've got to keep on going forward, and you've got to maintain, your sort of partnerships in terms of your relationships. And I'll give an example of a project that I worked on in Africa, actually, which was on technical vocational education and training. It was a partnership between a university. I used to work at the University of Nottingham before I went to the University of Derby. I was a project manager on this particular project. And it brought together researchers from the University of Nottingham, from colleagues in Uganda, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. And the one thing that I always remember about that project was an early career researcher who started on that project as a research assistant. Quite a low-level position, you know, and I know we've got some early career researchers in the room. And that project gave him that start to where he is now, which is now he's now a senior lecturer at one of the universities. And it started his international research relationship. He started as a research assistant. People saw his potential, at the University of Nottingham, and they supported him. We brought him over as a visiting fellow as part of that project. We brought him over to give guest lectures as well. And then he went ahead again, and we went for more funding, and he became a co-investigator on that project. So from starting as a research assistant, he became a co-investigator and did multiple publications along the way. So I think, as you say, from really, really small things, actually really big things can grow. But it takes time. It's a journey, and that's something that took nearly 4 years for him to start as that research assistant, but then become a co-investigator on a British Academy-funded project. And as we've said, the key thing really about international research from the UK perspective is that it really does matter, and it's going to become increasingly more important from the funder's perspective because they're looking for impact, they're looking for value for money, and that's not value for money as well simply from an academic perspective, but when we talk about research partnerships, we are thinking beyond that as well. We're looking for your contacts with non-governmental organisations, with government ministries, with industry. These are the other bits that the funders in the UK are going to be looking for when you're starting to develop research proposals. And again, they take time for you to develop. They're not something that you can throw together in 6 or 8 weeks when you try and hit a grant deadline, because, as we've already heard today, very often the grant deadlines are very, very short. They might come around every once in a while, and you know that certain things are going to come forward, but very often they appear out of thin air, and you've got to be able to react quite quickly. So having that research partnership, having that research relationship in place is going to become really, really, really important. And as I say, funders expect it. They want that international collaboration. They're going to want it even more. We know that UKRI, for instance, one of the biggest funding bodies in the UK, is looking more towards international collaboration. So as we've seen today, International Science Partnerships Fund, Welcome, we've already had that mentioned, UKRI, they're all going to start, they want that as part of their element. The other thing that has also been mentioned is interdisciplinarity. interdisciplinarity, certainly from the UK perspective, is going to become increasingly important. So it's not just about creating relationships within your own fields, but creating those relationships beyond. And that AI example, I think, is a really, really good example of that. It's how you can think about what you're potentially going to need. And that takes time. That's networking. And the question I got very early on is, how do you do that? Well, you know, I famously said, you know, if you don't ask, you don't get. That's a very British thing. If you don't ask, you don't get. And sometimes it does take an email. You know, it might be an email out to some colleagues to say, I'm interested in this. We have shared in. Just can I have 5 minutes of your time or 10 minutes of your time? And if that email doesn't get answered or doesn't get replied to, then what's that cost you? It's cost you 5 minutes of your time. But if that email gets answered and that person says, yeah, sure, I'm more than happy to meet, or I'm really, really busy at the minute, but I have a colleague who might be really interested, and these are real-world examples where I've seen this happen, can we have a conversation about this and what you want to do? Then it starts that journey. And so sometimes it is just that very small piece of you know, sending that little email will get you a sort of long way. But as I say, time is really, really important. We've already heard that having shared goals, shared understandings, and trust is really, really important. You shouldn't be putting together a partnership just to tick a box on a grant. Number one, I know this from talking to lots and lots of reviewers in the UK, they will see through that. They are looking at that partnership and whether it's been established. Sometimes there are even questions about that partnership in the application. How have you been, you know, what is the grant? How long have you been together? What have you done together? So, as we've already seen, it may start before that. It may be that you do some joint publications together. It may be that you do some small seed corn research. And actually, although we're talking about ISPF today, there are lots of funders in the UK from both the STEM world and the social sciences world that allow international collaboration. Yes, it's not a lot of money at this stage, but it's that stepping stone onto something potentially bigger. So I'll give you an example. We've got lots of colleagues at the University of Derby, for instance, that have, in the social sciences, that use the British Academy small research grant. It's only £10,000, which is not a lot of money, but what it is doing is allowing colleagues to work in Uzbekistan or in South Korea or in Ghana, for instance. And that's allowing them to demonstrate and build those relationships. One of the things that's also not been mentioned is, if you're starting to build that network, is there is specific funding available in the UK to start those international research networks. So things like the Royal Society, if you're if you're STEM focused, there are other schemes through I think British Academy and other social sciences research funders and charitable funders as well, that will allow those networks to start to develop. Obviously, you've got to have a real sort of clear focus in terms of that. And the one thing I'll also say about those ticking the box sort of exercises pieces is they just don't last, as has already been said. And the worst case scenario, and I have actually seen this happen, is where a partnership was thrown together at the last minute to meet a requirement of a funder, and they got the grant. And then all of a sudden, you've got a relationship that isn't built on trust. Partners don't quite know what's going on. And it becomes really, really difficult to manage because the expectations aren't clear from the partner's side. You're not knowing where you go. So good partnerships start well before a word is even written in a grant. I think that's one of the strongest things I can absolutely say. Shared problems, shared ideas, they're really, really important. Think about, as I say, think about industry, think about NGOs, think about your wider research network, because that's what, you know, that's where you can add value to a partnership with the UK. Because as I say, funders are not just looking at impact in terms of academic impact, we're looking for impact beyond academia. So having those connections are going to be really valuable for you. And I would also add that there's a really important step, and it's really nice to hear people say this, because this is very much my world, is there is a huge amount of admin that goes into this, both before and after. And I think it's, for international partners, it can be quite difficult sometimes to understand the requirements of that. As we've heard, there are things like due diligence that need to go through, legal processes that need to be signed, contracts that need to be signed. Even at some early stages, depends on your research, there may be things like agreements around non-disclosure agreements if you're talking about technical pieces, and all those sorts of things that are going to take time for you to sort of put together. The other thing is, as well, as I said, has been also mentioned, is funders are very sticklers for the rule in the UK, and we've heard plenty of examples where grants have been rushed together and a key piece of information has been missed. So things like, supporting letters need time to be developed, they need to be signed by the right person, budgets need to be signed, budgets need to be developed, and the budgets vary vastly between the funders. It depends which scheme that you're going for. So again, having those conversations with your partners early enough, understanding what they want is absolutely crucial. And I would also say that if you're unsure about something, say so. Be really, really clear, open and honest. And certainly when I try and work, and I hope my colleagues at the University of Derby would agree with this, but when I work with projects internationally, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to ensure that both parties know exactly what's involved, because timelines are very often quite short in the UK, particularly if you want to go for grant funding, and there's lots of administrative hurdles that we've got to overcome, probably on both sides. And so understanding them are really, really important. And similarly, from our side, when we are thinking about developing proposals, it's all well and good that we think, for instance, I don't know, I'll give you a very good example in Africa, that ethics in the UK is going to take 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden you find out that you're working with a partner country that actually has a national ethics process, so it's got to be done locally and then nationally. So having those conversations and understanding each other's administrative process, technical hurdles, things around intellectual property. We've already discussed data is a huge thing for UK funders as well, and data management. So again, having those conversations, again, even before you go for a funding grant, and understanding. One of the other things we've heard as well is around laboratories and equipment. What do you need from this project? Again, don't be afraid to ask that if we're going to go for this piece of research, we're going to need this piece of equipment, or we're going to need this resource, or we're going to need, a research assistant or 2 research assistants, or whatever it is that you need to make your project work. Because again, the worst thing that can happen is that you set up this partnership, you go for a grant and you're successful, and then you're unable to deliver it. Because that's going to reflect badly on both parties, and the funder's going to notice that, and that can then scupper your chances of again going forward for other grants. So having that open and honest relationship at the very early stage is probably one of the strongest pieces of advice that I can give you. And I say, if you're unsure of anything, then ask. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And with that, I'll close. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much. And I think what Alex has emphasized once again, and strongly convinced that all the process, particularly on the finding partners and working on sustainable research collaborations, particularly you start from the share value, share interest, and of course leave all opportunities open, right? And don't give up. Actually, I would say that don't give up, right? So I think we have some time for questions. Would that be possible? Right? Okay. So about 5 minutes. If anyone would like to, yes, please could you introduce yourself and also say where you're from as well. Yes, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Diu Hom Thong from Khon Kaen University. So thank you so much for sharing your experience throughout the partnership and collaboration. I'm a newbie, first of all, and I'm also not a UK alumni. I found it quite challenging in order to getting connected from the other territories. So according to your experience, do you have any recommendation for the people who are like a newbie and getting like want to know more, people getting some more connection but not so familiar with people in the territory? You have any recommendation for that?
Would you like
Please.
to hear from
Anyone? I think anyone would have like that experience.
Yeah. So there's lots of different ways in terms of approaching this. To say I'm not an academic, but I'm certainly involved in creating those partnerships, and there are lots of ways that it can be done. So at the very basic thing is conferences. You know, going to conferences both here and Thailand, and maybe visiting professors or academics giving guest lectures or whatever else it might be, or regionally within the ASEAN region. They're a great start. Conferences are that absolutely great start. But I'm also very worried, particularly for early career researchers, they cost money. And not everybody can go as an early career researcher in terms of doing that. So online conferences and things like that are also, you know, certainly worth looking for. We've already heard, looking at what's available within your own institution, you know, and again, I'm also really conscious that it varies from institution to institution. Even within the UK, there's there are differences between where I previously worked at the University of Nottingham to the University of Derby, different structures, different processes, different procedures. But absolutely looking for the international office and seeing what partnerships that they've got. Also, you know, as an early career researcher, I don't know if you've got a mentor, if you've got a dean of college, or you've got some senior profs within there, reach out to them. What's their network? Now, sometimes I do know what academics are quite like. They like to you know, hold their networks quite close. But more often than not, hopefully they might be able to sort of introduce you. And then, as I've said earlier, if you don't ask, you don't get. So having a look at those academics that interest you in terms of journal articles or in terms of fields or areas of interest, and has already been said, that the way in which you approach it is an email. This is what I'm interested in doing. This is my research. Here's my publications potentially. Can we have a conversation? You're not asking for a partnership at this point, but it's that, can we have that conversation? And it's that 10-minute chat. And as I say, what does it cost you? It's going to cost you 5 minutes of your time, isn't it? And like I say, that could be the seed from something that really, you know, great grows. So, you know, that they would be my steps if I were you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ajahn Takang and Ajahn Nusra, would you like to add to this point?
Yes. So I think that you can do every minute that you meet people. If you meet one people, you need to make that one trust that you can focus and you can deliver. So they will believe that if they spend energy with you, they will get something, right? So we need to share the product, not we just only get, they only get from us. So, and everyone have energy, you need to share energy. And I like the word synergy, that for everyone share. So I do not share everyone. Actually, I select some that have productive and share interest and have time, even small time, but it's very important to do together. And this will move everyone forward. So that I will say. So if you come to here, so this means that you invested your time, investing your time to collaborate or to listen. So this will be good, and so just use every minute to make it productive and creative. Yes.
Thank you.
So, Khon Kaen University have a very big and excellent international office. So you can run to Ajahn A, which is, I know her very well, and she can give you advice, and especially in a particular field, and probably another thing that you can do, because in your own field you definitely know someone. That's what I'm thinking. When you know someone, it means that one can help you to link to the next one, right? So you just drop them an email saying that, okay, I am planning to do this kind of thing, what do you think, and this kind of thing. That will be a very quick start. And then go to your international office and ask them. Definitely they're going to help you.
I definitely will try.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
yes. And I actually like to add to the three speakers as well that not only sharing trust, but also commitment. And I think that will make your collaboration powerful and also sustainable. So I think we have time for one question, maybe another. Would you have any question? Maybe we have one last question or comments that you would like to share with the speakers? No? Yes, okay. All right. So I was informed that actually we are running out of time. And I think for this session, I hope that all of you have a lot of insightful experiences, and particularly these are from the real experiences that they had been working and gone through a lot of challenges throughout their life as academics, as researchers, and also as the university executives. So after this session, I think there will be some more time that you can get in touch with all the speakers here, and I'm sure that they are more than pleased to share more insights to all of you. And in the future, I'm sure that British Council will also organize such a very interesting session like this again and again. So keep talking, keep moving, and then don't give up, and then be patient. Today you get to know each other. We never know. We might come up with about 100 publications from this room and then from other universities as well. So now let me take my final part here, concluding message here, to say thank you very much to all the speakers here. And please, everyone, kindly give them big applause to Assistant Professor Dr. Thakeng Wongsiritchod, Professor Dr. Narisara Chantratit, and of course Alex Phillips, who flew over from UK, University of Derby. Thank you very much, yes, and have a nice day. Thank you.
So would you, may I invite the speaker to take a picture in front of the stage, please? Okay. Hey! Okay, thank you so much for this panel discussion. So we will now have a short coffee break, and we will come back at 15:40, so 3:40 p.m. So please enjoy your break and please come back on time. Okay, welcome back to the pre-workshop seminar session, Scale Up Your Research Project with an International Research Grant, sharing best practice and lesson learned. This event is supported by UK International Science Partnership Fund, or ISPF, from the UK Department for Science, Innovation and Technology, in partnership with British Council and MHESI. So for the next session, we will hear from speaker and expert on the seed of success, what make a good research grant proposal. In this session, we will be discussing the key factor for successful research grant and most common pitfall. So I would like to introduce our panel of speakers. Dr. Chitti Mangkhalasedi, Deputy Director of PMUB, Assistant Professor Virachaya Chanpai Phet, Program Director of PMUC. Next, we have another person joining online, Jen Bradley, Head of Enabling Research and Science from British Council UK. And next we have Dr. Puriya Liravi, Senior Lecturer in Operations and Supply Chain Management from University of Derby. And this session will be moderated by Ms. Jirakamon Jalan Shawanapet, Education Program Manager, British Council Thailand.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the third session, The Seed of Success Would Make a Good Research Grant Proposal. Today, we will hear from British Council, along with PMUB and PMUC, and also the University of Derby, to talk about research grant opportunities, also pitfalls, and any advice on how to write a good project proposal. So today, in the panel, we will have Dr. Chitti Mangkhalasedi, Deputy Director from the PMUB, and also Assistant Professor Virachaya Chanpai Phet, Program Director from PMUC, and also Jen Bradley from the British Council, and also Dr. Puriya Liravi, Senior Lecturer in Operation and Supply Chain Management. So for the first panel, we will hear from Dr. Chitti on how to on the research grant opportunities from the PMUB and also the requirements of the funders. Let's hear from Dr. Chitti. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, I think I stay here and not walk around on the stage. Thank you so much for the MC for invitation, British Council, and DZIT as well. So I'm Jiti from PMUB. Very nice to meet you all. I think we have a very good session, and I see the room in my first opinion. Maybe after the break, everyone go back to their home, but you're still there. So I mean, you really want to get the grant for this year. So it's a very good opportunity as well. Okay, on behalf of the PMUB, I maybe would like to address a little bit on our granting agencies, and maybe you understand a little bit why PMUB focus in certain disciplines and areas. Okay, so the first of all, the real name we use, the Program Management Unit for Frontier Brain Powers and Future Industries. So we call PMUB. And if you follow the new mandate of this kind of PMU ABC, you will understand that right now we are a member of the ARCAT, which is the Research and Innovations Acceleration Agency for Competitiveness and Early Development. So it are combined of the multiple granting agencies together and become one. Okay, I speak out on behalf of my directors, and he's also alumni of the UK. He used to study in Oxford in organic chemistry, I think, right? And PMUB, actually, we are trying to be the leading organization and try to provide fund, drive talent development, advance in terms of the frontier research, and cutting-edge technologies. We try to enhance the national competitiveness and foster innovation and transform industry, strengthen global network. That's why we are here, and try to push Thailand toward a successful futures. And this is a word from our directors. And you can see the small lab here that this is a kind of the picture that represents really on PMUB. We have 3 targets: a groundbreaking research, future industries, and social challenge if there are. But to achieve such kind of goals, we need technologies, a brain for sure, and infrastructure on that. More than that, we have really focused missions in 4 areas. The first one, we focus on the brain powers. We build people from universities, postdoctorals, PhD as well, in many areas, from life science, logistics, engineering, AI, everything. So they are a huge part of the brain development. The second mission is about the frontier research. We go deep in the frontier research in certain disciplines. I will show you later all that. And we have the unit that try to build international partnership with many countries. UK, it's a very good one, but we have another as well. And also we try to support the infrastructures for certain laboratories. If you want to be more efficient in terms of the experimental, we also can support you in terms of infrastructures. So these are 4 missions that we have for PMUB. And then we are focused on 6 technologies, really on 6 technologies that we try to promote and support. The first one, we focus on digital computing technologies. If you work on the modeling, algorithms, mathematics, it could be our domain as well. It can be go far until high performance computing. Second groups, it's about the sensor and electronics. It's about the, I think, sorry on that. On the sensors, photonic technologies, advanced electrics, and also certain working on the power electric applications. It links also with the semiconductor industries. The third groups that we support, and I do believe that the UK promote this activity pretty much in recent years. It's about the synthetic biologies. It's about the precision fermentations, biomanufacturings, genome editing, or if you focus on precision medicine, it could be great as well for this topic. We are also working on clean energies, climate change. I think UK provide a lot of fund on climate change issues. We're working on the SMRs, modular reactors. We don't have nuclear one, but we work on that. We are promote biofuel, for sure, that produce from palm oil, for example, always cooking oil. We also promote the solar cell or hydrogen as well. It's a kind of that thing that we promote. We work on advanced materials. If you're working on materials, something that could be a functional material in the future, it's our domain. And lastly, I think we are the only one who really work on the frontier research. Whether you work on the space technologies, payload, GIS, quantums, high-energy physics. So this is our domain of PMUB. And the whole thing that I say, it's about the what we are, PMUB. But to answer these questions today, we have some notes on that everything I tell you, we follow the national plan on science research innovation that start from 2023 until 2027, and we are focused on many aspects. And I would like to say that the good proposal should make clear and explain how research outcome that could contribute to economic development, social and environment as well. Certain discipline maybe touch a little bit on SDG, it could be fine. I think it could be fine. It depends on the partners. And the successful international collaborations, many times it requires to align with the research priority partnership. For example, this year, if we focus on climate change, it could be both sides climate change. It could be great. Next year, I think the topic we release in May. In this May, you will know exactly the topics that Thailand, UK, British Council will release for the next year. But normally, 6 areas cover all that. And I think that the strong proposal that grant in the previous year, they are very good in terms of the expertise of that team. Also, the connection with the international partners, it could be great. And we also looking for something that a kind of involvement of the real research, not a parallel one. Many times we see the project that one university work on one things and the other working on the similar things. It's a kind of parallel. It's not maybe not a target for us. We're looking for something that work together in terms of research. And on behalf of PMUB, we also have the specific program on global partnership. So even you work today, we are discussed in the UK forum, but if there are possibilities, you can also work with other countries. But I recommend UK for this time, okay? And what is important as well for the proposal, I think that we think about the exchange of people. This is the first point that we can exchange the people. The first thing is exchange, and if you have a good connection in terms of their laboratories, it could be great in the future. It can be scaled up and could be a legacy like the previous mentioned. What else should I say about it? One thing that the point that we would like to mention, it's about the gender equality as well. I think it's become important in the international agendas. And I would like to address that in the previous year, 70% of the principal investigators are women. Okay. 30% are men. Okay. I think maybe we are a few countries that more researchers are female than male in Thailand in certain disciplines. Somehow, when we go deeper, we have a fun fact that even 70% are women as principal investigators. But if we count all the team, it's only 40% of women in their team. 60% are men. It means that women are the boss in Thailand. So very fun fact. But it's real. It's real. But so many times when we visit other countries and they ask about gender equality, so I can say properly that we are not the case. Thailand, the majorities of leaders, researchers are women, and we are proud of that. Okay, so maybe I can stop here, and if you have a time, we have a discussion later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chiti, and then we will save the question at the end of the session. Next, we would like to invite Prof. Virachaya Janpaipet from the PMUC to give more information about research opportunities and expectations from the PMUC. Let's hear from PMUC.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for British Council for inviting me and give a speech for everyone today. And I'm Professor Virachaya, Program Director of the Global Partnership at the PMUC. And for the PMUC, I would like to give a short briefly about our organization, and Professor Siti all briefly about the new organization structure of our organization is the very long name in Thai, and I'm not sure for the formal name in English, but you can call the RWPOL. And for the PMUC, A and B is the under organization under the RWPOL. And for the D session is the part of the PMUC. That's a program management unit for the concentrate in the competitiveness of the industrial sector in Thailand. And this is the vision statement that give from our director, for the new director, Professor Ganda Bunsothonstit, and give the vision statement for the PMUC that to drive Thailand towards innovation-based economy by utilizing ready-to-use research and innovation funding. This is the concentrate focus for the PMUC that the researcher have to the TRL4 for the submit proposal grant to the PMUC, and this concentrate to generate the commercial impacts and enhancing Thai standard to international level and the national competitiveness for the industrial sector in Thailand. But for the PMUC, focus on the S-curve or the new S-curve industrial sector. So we set the primary research program that concentrates to the main industry in Thailand for the 8 industry that including the tourism and creative economy, health and medicine, and functional ingredient and high value food, also the circular economy and the bioenergy and digital and semiconductor, future mobility, logistics, and railway, including in this topic, and also the logistic industry. This is the main program, 8 primary program for the PMUC focus from now on. And also PMUC provide for the enabling program. For the 3 enabling program include for the NQI, National Quality Infrastructure, and for the innovation-driven enterprise, and called the IDE program. And so the last for the Global Partnership program. And in this, for the Global Partnership program, this is if the Thai researcher can submit the research proposal for the PMUC in the track of the Global Partnership program, you have to align on the industrial sector that you have to select the one industrial sector based on the primary program. This is the new funding area and new direction for the PMUC from now on. And for the previously, the Thai researcher submit for the global partnership, but not limit to some industrial sector. But for the from now on, we focus on only the 8 industrial sector. And for the second concentration for the PMUC, we support the research in the prototype development stage, in the research stage. So the researcher have a TRL4 before submit the grant to the PMUC. This is our direction for the proof of concept. You can submit the grant to the NRCT or the PMUB also. And if you are also a fundamental fund from the university, if you have a proof of concept or the validation in the experiment in the lab in the laboratory, you have a TRL4 and can bring it as an evidence to submit the grant to the PMUC. This is the main rule for our PMU. And I think for in this, I think everyone understand about for the TRL because for this topic focus on the science, innovation, and technology. This is the level of the TRL. And for the PMUC start from the TRL4 to TRL7. And if you have a TRL 8 or 9, this is the direction you can submit to the NIA. It's not out of focus. So, but if you start from the initial stage of the TRL at the level 4, you can end of your research project, but not limit to the TRL 8 or TRL 9. This is for PMUC. You can. And from now and for the PMUC research grant, and we have to provide the grant to only Thai researcher. This is the rule of, I think it's any for PMU in Thailand. And we have two aspects for the submit the grant proposal. For the first, you can submit the research with the international partners. This is one aspect for the submit proposal to the Global Partnership Program for the at the PMUC. You can form the research project and have collaboration with the international researcher. And I would like to, I require for the essential form of document such as for the LOI, letter of intent, or MOU or MOA, only one. And for the another track for the joint funding program, and such as for the joint funding program that such as for the British Council ISPF program. And this is the joint funding that the PMUC have the negotiate for collaboration to provide the joint funding. And PMUC will provide some funding and for the international organization or international institute provide the another funding to form one research project together. This is the two aspects for the PMUC for the grant opportunity for the Thai researcher, and for the international partner can join in the project. And this is an example of the joint funding program. We make the collaboration with the international institutes such as for the British Council or the another international institute in the another country. And for the project team can set up one research project that includes the researcher from the international researcher and the Thailand-based researcher And for the rule of the PMUC, the one rule the PMUC have an industrial partner join in the project. This is the main requirement for the PMUC. So for the Thailand-based researcher have an industrial partner join the project together. And for the sharing about the resource or the funding, for the one project this is for this presentation. So today is only an example, and for the resource is based on each case, that based on the negotiation with the international institute. And this is the structure of the joint funding that PMUC provide to the Thai researcher. And this is the main rule because I would like to concentrate about for the enhancing Thailand competitiveness for the industrial sector in Thailand. So we require for the co-investment from the private sector, and sometimes and for the public organization can join in the form of in-cash as well. And I would like to concentrate about for the private organization to provide co-investment in form of both in cash and in kind in the project. This is the main rule for the PMUC. And since 2020 that the Global Partnerships Program of the PMUC established, we have 70 international collaboration and have a global partnership around the world. This is the PMUC that grant the research under the Global Partnership Program. And for the I will summarize for the expectation from the PMUC. When you submit the proposal to the PMUC, and we have to align the primary program that aid industrial sector that we set. And for the sometime for the joint funding, we have limit and determine for the research stream, such as for the some joint funding, we focus on the high value food, then sustainable food, or the sometimes focus on the AI, artificial intelligence theme, but sometimes for the joint funding limit it. For the another track, for the commonly to submit the normally for the research submit to the Global Partnership Program must align on the primary program. And next, for the technology readiness or TIL level start at the level 4. And you have to make application of the TIL at the end of the research project up to second level, two level, at least 2 steps. Such as for if you start at the TIL 4, you have end your project at the TIL 6. This is the minimum. And if you can end at a level 9 or level 8 or level 9 is a good for the competitiveness. And for the next, PMUC require for the co-investment at least for the minimum level at 10% in cash and also in kind. And then we focus on the economic impact and set your co-investment from the industrial sector have the drive their business as an innovation-driven enterprise. And then we require for the global partnership requirement with the formal documents such as for the LOI, MOU, or MOA, and also for the joint funding program, we will set for the evaluation criteria between the international institution that we collaborated. Some the special criteria such as from the British, from the UK, we have to set the evaluation criteria about the gender equality too. And for the we have the joint funding with the CRISO from the Australia. The Australia set for the evaluation criteria about the sustainability is the depends on the case of the joint funding collaboration. But for this is a special requirement from the international partnership. And we recap to the do and don't from the PMUC. So summarize that the start at level 4 TIL and have focus on the active technology transfer and focus on the innovative different enterprise growth and focus on the economic impact. And for the special criteria from the global partner collaboration such as for gender or sustainability. This is a brief short introduction from the PMUC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kun Virashaya from the PMUC to explain about all the criteria to apply for research grant opportunities from the PMUC. Next, we will hear from the British Council Jane Bradley, head of head of enabling research and science, where she will talk about overall UK research opportunities and also all the assessment on gender and ODA requirements. So I will hand it over to Jen, who will join us online today.
I have a presentation to share with you, but somehow not letting me share in this mode. So I'm going to go ahead and let my colleagues circulate those slides afterwards. And I'll just try to explain the best I can, but don't feel like you need to write all this down. There will be PowerPoint slides to follow. So I have been asked to talk about some of the requirements around British Council funding. So around some of those international partnerships that were referred to earlier, the International Science Partnership Fund. We have a couple of requirements on our funding that you'll need to take into account when you apply. And I know that they can be sometimes a little confusing or challenging when you first see them. So the first one is our need for the research to be official development assistance compliant. Now, this is a legal requirement for how the funding is awarded to us by the UK government through different government departments, and we can't actually influence or do anything about this. It's a requirement that we have to meet in our own audit trails. So we need every project that we fund to be compliant with some of these rules. It really should stop you from doing most of the things that you would be doing anyway. There's no reason why official development assistance, or we call ODA funding, can't cover different technology readiness levels, different frontier technologies, all kinds of different partnerships. The key to this is really where the benefits themselves would accrue. So to be ODA eligible, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, which is an international body that we all answer to, will state that research projects should be directly and primarily related to the problems of developing countries. We don't really like the term developing countries. It's what's used by them, but it's more that the benefits themselves need to sit in Thailand with the Thai people and not necessarily with the UK or with sort of broader northern or western settings. The other real big criteria here is that we cannot use ODA funding for anything with a military, security, or dual use purpose, which sometimes we have to be a little bit careful with, especially around some of the higher technology readiness levels and some of the frontier technologies, depending on the potential applications. So what we ask you to do, there will be some questions in our application form about ODA impact and relevance, usually over a medium-term time frame. So we're looking for you to explain the impact of your work over a 3 to 15-year time horizon. So again, the aid relevance to the project doesn't need to be immediate. It might be some ways off, as long as you can show a pathway from the work you're doing now to where that impact would eventually sit. We will ask you to please consider the economic development, sustainability, and social welfare impact of your work, not just the outputs and the potential outcomes, but also how the work is conducted itself, especially if you've got community engagement or data collection involved in it. And it can be really useful to include reference to the Sustainable Development Goals. That's a really good way to frame development assistance applicability. We also have a responsibility for any ODA funding to be selected through open and transparent processes, that it's a priority for the funders and the governments in country where we're working, as well as having a clear benefit, which is why it's such a huge advantage for both of us, for us to work quite closely with PMUB and PMUC on this. We look for additionality and activity that would be challenging to fund or not possible with the partnership if we didn't have the funding that we put in place. So it would be difficult to find other ways to work with the UK and the specific advantages of that partnership. And of course, just like all your other funders, scientific excellence, value for money, open peer review, and transparent assessment. Research that can be relevant to international development, we define that as applied or fundamental research that has the potential to contribute to economic development and welfare of low and middle income countries with a pathway to development. Some countries, especially higher and closer to the middle income levels, we're looking for that work to benefit disadvantaged or marginalized populations. So a good example is in the case of a new medical intervention, we would be looking for something that would have broad reach, broad applicability, potential to reach rural or more disadvantaged populations, more rural or outlying hospitals, not something that will be maybe available in one hospital to only a handful of people, but broadly applicable. So rather than maybe the newest stem cell treatment, something that was closer to low-cost diagnostics, cold chain medicine delivery, that kind of broad applicability. We of course, we look for the impact, again, can be up to 15 years away from the original project, so it can take a long time for those benefits to be realized, but we need you to show us a clear pathway in the grant application itself. And of course, things that are grants or placements, MSc or PhD training, training and fellowships, those are considered capacity development. So the capacity is the aid requirement, but the research area topic still needs to be credible for development assistance relevance. So on the slides that I'll share with you, we have a few examples that I won't rattle through, where we have things that can be reported as ODA and not reported as ODA. They're not exhaustive lists. And of course, if you have any questions with one of our open calls, please do just get in touch with us. Every call that we open will have, I'm sure, a contact locally, but also a contact, a British Council mailbox where you can send any advanced questions to. So if you're not sure about the relevance, or if you want to clarify anything less, don't ever hesitate to get in touch. And then just again, about our considerations of gender equality in our applications. This is, again, actually a requirement of the same Development Assistance Act. There's an act here called the International Development Gender Equality Act of 2012 that actually requires us legally to take these things into account. So again, we will have a question on the application form about the gender equality and aspects of your proposal and your approach to inclusivity. I'm really heartened to hear that so many and such an overwhelming number of your Thai researchers, and especially Thai research leaders, are women. That's a fantastic result. And that's actually one of the first steps we look for is group composition, leadership, recruitment. All of those things are critical to this. But there's actually other parts of the process where we would expect gender equality to be taken into account. So that could be at the ideas or impact stage. Have I considered differential impact of the work? Are any research or innovation questions gender biased? Have people had an equal opportunity to participate in design? All the way through research activities. Who are your participants? Who will you be speaking to? Are there negative consequences for gender relations? Are you using gender sensitive language? Through to dissemination and monitoring, is your data disaggregated where it could be? How will I monitor gender equality? Oh, thank you so much. That's the slide I'm on. And what is the gender or potential gender imbalance of the beneficiaries of your research? Who are you disseminating your finding to? And have I identified any research that does discuss the gender dimension of the project? So the important part here about all of these statements is that we're very much not looking for stock language or information that could be taken from a university website. Here in the UK, we have a certification process called Athena Swan that is designed to promote gender equality in academic settings and academic research. And a lot of times, certainly on the UK academic side, the reason our gender equality statements fail is a researcher will take the information from the university website about their Athena Swan certification, saying that their chemistry department is a very good example of gender inclusion because of the following very broad reasons. And they will use that as their full gender equality statement. That's really challenging for us. We want your gender equality statement to be very tailored and specific to the project that you're working on. If you can go to the next slide. So here's some of these common pitfalls. The statement is frequently or can be incomplete. So we have 5 criteria that we need you to address. Not all of them necessarily have full applicability to everything that you could be doing, but we need evidence that you have considered it in the design of your work. It needs to be specific to your project. They can be too general. They can be broad comments about EDI, broad comments about institutional or cultural commitment, without it being tailored to the specific work of the project itself and your own particular design, implementation, outcome, and monitoring. And then again, there's a short and long-term impact here. So if we're asking for development assistance impact all the way down 15 years, we would expect your gender statement to take something similar into account. So if you are going to say in the ODA question that the impact might not be felt for 10 to 15 years, we would expect your gender equality statement to also go that far forward and talk about any differential impact at that point. And then probably as ever, but you'd be surprised how many of these I get where people will just put in not applicable to me, yes or no. Those are not sufficient answers for us, and it will be a condition of funding. We will reject your application on that point. So again, my slides will be shared. I'm happy to take any questions, and unfortunately, I can only stay with you for about another 15 minutes. But if you have any questions that I can't answer or can't get to, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us directly at the British Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jen, for your insight information on the common pitfalls and also to address on EDI and also gender accessibility. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Livari on to share perspective as a grant applicant to address any pitfalls, challenges in applying grants and also advice.
Sawasdee krap, everyone. Good afternoon. I know that I'm the last speaker, so I will try to make my presentation practical and concise. And thank you for your patience, everybody. This is me, Purya Liravi. I'm a senior lecturer at Derby Business School. My field of research is operations and supply chain management in anything within supply chain management, logistics mainly, food supply chains. And I have been working, I'm the PI of this project here today with you. And also, I've also had a British Academy funded project with University of Srinagarh University in Bangkok, which we delivered academic writing workshops over the 2 years. So I've been traveling to Bangkok in the past 2 years for this type of projects. And I've been principal investigator for board package leaders in a couple of other projects. I've been preparing proposals for British Academy, British Council, lots of different funders, European funders, Horizon Europe projects, most of them unfortunately unsuccessful, but today I'm going to share from my experience. So one of the speakers early in the morning, I think he was the first one from the embassy, he spoke about the research institutes, and he mentioned that UK government research is funded through UKRI. UKRI has 7 disciplinary research councils, and with Research England and Innovate UK, they form this 9 disciplinary research funding organizations. And each of these councils, they have their own remits, disciplines, and delivery plans. So the links are there. I believe the presentations will be shared with you. You can click on them, and it will take you to the relevant web page. So, one thing that I noticed that the gentleman in the morning didn't mention was other funders and the charities, for example. There are other charities such as Leverhulme, Wellcome Trust, Nuffield. They have also their specific area of interest, and universities work with wide spectrum of charitable funders. And these also, you can't probably be the PI, the principal investigator, but you could be the co-investigator. As I mentioned, my previous project with BA, the Srinagarh University was the co-I. So there are opportunities if you can find a partner, a UK partner that can lead, then you can probably define and develop a proposal. As I mentioned, each of these funders that I explained earlier, they have their own priorities, and these are all available on their website. So you can please make sure that you read them, get familiar with the priorities, see whether your idea matches that their strategic priority or not. And usually, each funder, when you go into their website, they have a couple of funding opportunities available. Some of them have deadlines, some of them they don't have deadlines, so they are open dates, so they are called responsive modes. So you can look into that as well and see how you can plan basically to meet that deadline, because the deadlines are set in stone and they won't change it basically. I'm going to mention a couple of opportunities that I noticed that are available. For example, UKRI's Art and Humanities and Research Council, AHRC, they have a couple of awards like Curiosity Award. So this scheme is intentionally flexible, and you can apply up to £100,000 for that. And again, similar to that, there is Catalyst Award, which is for early career researchers, junior researchers who don't have that much experience. So again, they want them to create some leadership skills with them. But again, as you can see, the sums are generous. There should be a K after 100, so it's 100,000, not 100 pounds. And other research grants are like standard routes, where we can get like from anything between 300,000 to £1.5 million. And again, so these are significant investments, but Thai partners can't be the lead, so you have to have a lead within the UK in order to be able to go for that. Similarly, Economic and Social Research Council, ESRC, they have also a couple of interesting projects. One of them, for example, secondary data analysis, is basically they fund you to do a secondary data analysis research, and but they have their own criteria, what they are looking for, what types of systems, methodologies they are looking at. So you have to be very clear on that in order to be winning. I named these fundings before in my previous slide. Again, there are, for example, the BA level Hume small grant research is, again, some awards that they can fund you for up to £10,000. I currently hold a small grant research as well with them, which is investigating the role of AI, artificial intelligence, for neurodiverse students. So how can AI help the students to learn better, basically? So, so these are different funders. So what makes a strong application? So your idea must be original, and you need to show that you have an underexplored area of research, something that is clearly needs research. You don't want to reinvent the wheel, basically, or what is already known. Yeah, it should be significant. It should add to the body of knowledge or practice, and also show that it has. In terms of feasibility, you need to show that it is feasible throughout that proposed time that you are saying. For example, if you're going to say, I'm going to do like 3 researchers based on that, and if the first one fails, I won't be able to do the second or third, that's not feasible. So you need to show that continuity, that it is there, and within that budget, within that time. Yeah. And it's very important that you have a very clear research question, and it has to be concise, and it has to be within the remits of that funding body organization. It should fit that funder's interest. And a good research question, as you know, will guide your methodology as well. So again, see whether it is within the remits of that project or not. So I always mention that to my students, that when I'm teaching them research methods, that a research method has to look like a funnel. So the data, you collect the data through the methodology, and it has to, the narrow parts of the funnel is your research aim. So it has to be very clear, and I think that is the same thing as well for here. So the research aim on objectives dictates the methodology, yeah? And if there is a disconnect between methodology, the reviewers will identify it. So how are you going to answer this question with this methodology? So that you have to be very clear. And also you have to look into the impacts, and you show that how research will advance the knowledge in that field. So what is the impact that you're going to have? And very importantly, the budget should be very clear, should be justified, the costs, the breakdowns, the timings, because I mean, the funders, they will assess everything, whether is it feasible, is it value for money, are they going to get the worth, the money worth for I mean, and again, are you going to be like justifications? Are there justification on why you are spending money on that activity? So it has to be very clear. So your application should sit between these three circles, basically. If it's an interdisciplinary research, you need to again show them why, what are the innovative solutions, what is the impact. Again, look into this, the funders, look into the societal relevance, for example, the cost of living, the healthcare, if it's going to be, we're going to look at, and for example, the emerging areas. Also look into the funders' priorities and see how they are looking into and what are they. So your application should have all these three elements, I would say, in order to be that. So I would say in terms of tips for proposal writings, make sure that it is clear. So the clarity is very important. It has to be easy to understand. You are a subject matter expert of your field. Probably the reviewer might not have that detailed understanding. I mean, I see that nowadays people use artificial intelligence, generative AI, and it makes it even more complicated. So try to simplify it and avoid jargon, as they say. When I write the abstract, I give it to my wife and I say, do you understand what I'm saying? She's a medical doctor, so I say, she just proofread it. If she gets it, then I think I can sell it to everyone. In terms of evidence-based, you need to be ensure that all claims and arguments are backed by solid evidence. If you are going to cite the literature, don't cite anything from 90s or 80s or whatever. It's something that has to be recent, up to date. Peer review, again, give it to your colleague, to a team, someone that is, of course, knows about the topic. Have a view. I mean, we are very blessed that we have Alex and his colleagues who are great peer reviewers. They challenge us, and we have a system in our organization that Alex introduced, which is called intention to bid. So we identify a funding, and he looks into it, and will say, okay, what's your proposal? We submit our theory of change, which we are going to talk through these workshops with you, and they're going to check it. So, and they say, okay, is it feasible? Do you have the skill set? Who is in the team? Who is the partner? So it's like a mini Viva, I would say, but it's a good Viva, because then after that you feel prepared and you know what are the weaknesses, and he's sitting here, I can tell him, I said, no, we don't have time. So it's too late, and we won't make it to the deadline. So it's good to identify this, what you call it, funding opportunities as early as possible, and plan for them and go through this process, because you won't succeed if it's rushed, basically. Yeah? And also make sure that you always carefully follow the funders' specific guidelines, and make sure that you, some funders, they don't give feedback. From BA, small grants, they receive thousands of applications. So you won't be receiving a feedback why you failed, so that you're just rejected or something like that. Okay, but some of them, they give you feedback which you can take on board and say, okay, what are the weaknesses? So which I really appreciate it. So there are some compulsory requirements in UK grants. So ODA, which my colleague spoke a little bit earlier before me, and we're going to have a module about that as well. So Elnerin is going to talk about that. Gender equality consideration. So you need to show that how the representatives of your research, of the participants, and also members are, you have, we don't want everybody to like a certain gender to be dominant. Yeah, ethics approval is very important as well. You need to be aware that the partner that you are working with, how long does the ethical approval takes place? In our university, probably 1 or 2 weeks, but if your partner has a national ethics approval process, it might take them months. So that's another thing that you need to look at. And again, impact, knowledge, and exchange plans, we're going to talk about them in details tomorrow and the day after. I'm cognizant of the time, so apologies if I'm rushing. So I'm going to give you 5 steps, so practical steps. First, make sure that you contact whoever is responsible in your institution. So we have research development managers in order to check, bid, and follow that intention to bid process. And look at and read and make sure that you are aware and clear about the submission systems. Do you have access to their portals? For this specific bid, I didn't have access to the portal for some reason. The username was not working. So luckily, British Council gave us an alternative way of submitting it. So that's something that you need to be very, very clear. Yeah? Number 2, it is very important that you articulate why your research matters. Again, we're going to take you through the theory of change, the whys and why now, why this research is important, why the funder should fund your research. So you should be convincing them that because they are going to give you money. Yeah? So again, 2 more slides. Yeah. Sorry. Again. And why this research should be funded at this time. The third point that I would like to add is you need to spend good amount of time. For example, the responsive mode that they don't have any deadline, for example, you should be at least spend 3 to 6 months, review, make sure all the documents are there. Late bids do not make great bids. So you will rush something, you will miss a document, it will signed by someone that shouldn't sign it, or a document gets missed. So don't rush it, I would say. The fourth one is consider the impact beyond academia, so how your research can benefit the society. The funders are interested in that. Again, the other sectors of academia, how this project will strengthen these elements, how your findings will be disseminated, implemented. Are you going to just say, I'm going to publish in a 3-star paper, or I'm going to write a white paper, policy papers, what are these, and how are you going to, this will be impacted throughout beyond this. And stay flexible, the 5th one, I would say. Be open to exploring different funders and cause, lessons learned, see what you have done wrong, looking if it's allowed to resubmit the idea, maybe you improve it, and then you apply it. Yeah, structure your project, distinct and adaptable models that can be scaled up. And last thing that I wanted to probably say is a great idea won't win you a fund. Idea has to be delivered clearly. It has to align strategically, and you need to convince them that why this. So, and it has to be delivered and logically to the funders and show why it does matter. So, thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Livari, on as a applicant and share some direct experience and also some challenges and also advice. So now we move to the Q&A. You have an opportunity to ask all the funders and also the British Council as well about any question you may have on requirements or tips, advice you may have.
Thank you very much. My name is Myo Yu. I'm a researcher from Research Institute for Health Science, Chiang Mai University. I'm very honored to be here attending this ISPF or International Research Grant Writing Workshop. So I would like to clarify just one thing from PMUC regarding the grant opportunities. So one PMUC says grant opportunities for Thai researchers in the slides. Does it refer to the researchers affiliated with Thai institutes? Thank you very much.
And Yes, I'm from the Chiang Mai University too, and for the PMUC, the who can submit for the PMUC grant is not limited to the principal investigation from the university only. The PI can submit from the industrial sector. So, and for the university. For the researcher from the university have a collaboration with the industry sector also. You have to develop the research proposal based on the demand of the industrial sector and submit the grant to the PMUC.
May I clarify one more thing? It's about the for example, like a kind of international researcher like me affiliated with the Chiang Mai University also have a chance to apply this kind of research grant?
And I think for the all PMU cannot support for the international researcher, for the all PMU support to the Thai researcher as well?
To be frank, I'm Myanmar national, but I'm working with the RAHES at the Chiang Mai University. So can I be considered as the researcher affiliated with Thai institutes that can have a chance
for
to...
for the research that foreigner and I'm not sure for
No, we can.
Oh, no.
Actually, in many universities, we have the multi-nationalities. And if you are working with whether Chiang Mai or other universities, you can also submit the proposal. The consideration process could be the same. And the people who make a decision may be an executive of each granting agency. So in the past time, we also provide a grant for not only Thai researchers, but they work with Thai universities as well. So it's possibilities.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's the same rule.
So according to the previous question, so I think the foreigner who can actually submit to PMUC or to PMUB have to have the working contract with the university in Thailand too, right? Not only the like postdoc or like
right. You have to have get the official position.
Okay.
I would say the professors or something. It could possible, right?
Okay, I see. Thank you. One more question concerning the PMUC. Okay, Ajahn Nun, yes. So I see the size from UK. So we need one institute to support as well, right? To be a partner. But the institute can be also the kind of company or the industrial sector.
In the international partner side,
yes,
it's but not limited to. But I will responsibility for the Thai researcher only. That based on the rule of the PMUC. But for the international partner, is the based on the for the each case that provide from the negotiation for the joint funding. It's for such as for the joint funding with Australian is not required for the industrial sector from the international partner. It may be for the negotiation process for the joint funding for the each case.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone has any question for PMUB or PMUC at this stage, or you can, at the end of this session, you can also reach out to them directly as
Maybe
well.
just a quick question to you. Do you think that we have enough discipline for you guys, or not? I mean, this is PMUC, we are B, and also NRC didn't join us, but we try to support Thai researchers or international researchers who work in Thailand. And do you think that the discipline that we are trying to cover is enough for you guys, or you need more? Please share with us. Thank you.
Yes, PMUB mentioned that if anyone wants to share that, if you think that all the discipline cover for like PMUC or PMUB that offer the grant for you is enough or not enough, you can share with them directly at the end of the session as well. You can reach out to them directly in the email address as well. I think if there is no more question at this stage. I would like to conclude the session, and I would like to thank you everyone for your attention for the session 3. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the panel for the third session of today and the last session, what make a good research grant proposal. So next we would like to take a quick photo in the middle of the stage, please. So another picture in front of this, please. So we take a picture with the participant a little bit. Behind the TV, please. Hey! Thank you so much for our panel members. So we have now come to the final part of today's program. So my name is Justin. I'm a representative from the British Council. I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all speakers and contributors who have shared their expertise and valuable experience with us today. Your insight has provided a practical guidance and inspiration for researchers seeking to expand their work through international research grants. So today's seminar is designed to provide information. So since the 3 sessions in the morning, we have a session about opportunity and challenge, where we share research funding opportunity, trends in research, and funder expectation. And we also go through how to start and maintain an international research relationship. As well as for the last session, we have gone through what make a good grant research proposal from our partner from PMUB, PMUC, and as well as from the University of Derby. So for tomorrow workshop, we will be basically utilizing knowledge from today, what we've learned from many of the speakers, many of our funding partners, as well as from the ministries. So I would like to also invite Puri up to the stage again to kind of give you a trailer of what to expect for tomorrow workshop, what we are expecting, and what is going to be happening for tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm just waiting. So thank you very much for attending today and staying until the end of the session. I know it has been a long day, but I hope it was useful. So tomorrow and the day after, we're going to deliver 4 modules. And we are going to be dividing the participants into 4 groups. So each group is going to be sitting in the room. And the lecturers or the trainers, we're going to rotate. So you don't need to move. So when you attend in a room, just in the morning you receive one training, in the afternoon another one, the following day the same. So we have 4 modules designed, Alex, and
so we're going to try and cover everything that we've spoken about today. So we've got sessions that are going to cover grant writing. We've got sessions that are going to cover ODA requirements specifically, because as we've seen from colleagues at the British Council, that is a clear area of focus. We're also going to cover international partnerships, how they work, common pitfalls, and you're also going to discover theory of change and look how to actually put that into a practical context. So the sessions are designed in 2 stages essentially. The first half, if you like, is quite traditional in terms of lectures, but certainly when I'll be presenting it, there'll be opportunities for you to ask questions and to go for that. The second half, again, is going to be quite a practical session with practical bits that you can go through. There's going to be handouts that you can take away, materials, and hopefully lots of useful things that you will go away with at the end of the 2 days that will hopefully support you on your research journey.
Indeed. And how many of you has submitted any research proposals, any grants? Has anyone submitted and failed? Yeah? So don't be shy. We are amongst friends. So bring your drafts. If you are currently working on something, or if you have submitted something and you have been unsuccessful, bring it, yeah? Because we're going to have some exercises which allows you to be looking at your proposal as a view of like a reviewer, yeah? So then you can see, okay, maybe I should have done this another way, and then bring your successful, unsuccessful, or draft ideas with yourself tomorrow. And,
I mean, the other things to say is there are no stupid questions. Ask us anything that you want. We're here to support you. That's the primary purpose of us coming all this way, is to ensure that, as I say, you can be successful on your future research endeavours with hopefully UK partners and international partners more generally.
Yeah. And one final request is you should have all received a questionnaire. Thanks for those who have completed it, but if you haven't, I would appreciate it if you can complete it before the training. This will allow us to see how useful it was, how we have helped you. So
it's also understand your confidence. In these specific areas, and we'll understand where you are as researchers and where you're going to go in the journey. And hopefully we'll see an improvement or whatever else we'll decide from that. But that's going to be useful information for us in terms of designing future sessions. But
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much to Alec and Pori. So tomorrow's session, we should be exciting to get some real work done for tomorrow. So for tomorrow, I just want to give a brief kind of schedule for tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be starting the registration at 9:30. And the workshop will start at 10 a.m. So please come on time to ensure that everybody get a good learning experience. As for people that have questions regarding groupings, the grouping will be on the registration sheet tomorrow. So please check your grouping, and then you will join your group according to that initial grouping for tomorrow morning. So this brings us to the end of the international pre-workshop seminar. Scaling up research, scale up your research project with an international research grant, sharing best practice and lesson learned. Thank you all once again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing many of you again during the workshop session tomorrow. Thank you so much. Okay, a little bit closer together. Hey! Hey! Okay, thank you so much, everybody, and hope to see all of you to our tomorrow session. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.